Hey, welcome to. I didn't mean to hit that. Welcome to my show. This, my friend, we're gonna take a look at the Karate Kid, and I'm gonna tell you why I believe Daniel Larusso should have lost. Hopefully, nobody is talking over. Let's skip that. Let me go watch it. Okay, here's this scene. Let's go Cobra Kai. Uh, that's sweet, beautiful, sweet. He's nervous. As he should be. Because Daniel Larusso never spar. If you saw any of the clips, the only thing he done was uh defend, and he will strike and hit Mr. Miyagi, and Mr. Miyagi will have like it looks like an umpire uh padding on, kind of like a if you didn't have the money for the uh sparring gear, but you have some of you have baseball gear and use that as your because the mask he had on was fist end, so he would probably still get hit the vibration, feel the vibration of the hits, and it gave granted it did give Daniel Larusso a way to get a good feel how when you're striking a punch through a blunt punch a object, but it also will give him the sensitivity, false sensitivity, and I mean because he didn't attack back. He didn't spar with him. It was just more than him. I mean, I guess. Hold on, let me rephrase that. He did what I call like a light no touch bar, and this and considering before he entered the tournament on here, he ends up stealing a black belt from a double bag. For somebody was supposed to be actually entered enter the tournament has the black belt no longer there. He stole it. Anywho, continue on with. He's nervous, but he should be. In reality, he will be cream. His sensei would have brought his student to a black belt tournament meant for black belts, not white. He, in reality, and let's go on. Oh, nice. Let's talk about the Taekwondo movement, though. That kick right there was the Taekwondo. That's where the Tang Shou theory came in play because the hit that Johnny Lawrence did to the person where he kick and hook his kick around to kind of drop the hand and go for the roundhouse kick. Very Taekwondo-ish movement. That's not reality right there. That one, that one. I don't know how he won, but oh well. Nice. Oh, beautiful hit there. So this is a point karate, point stuff. Nice little technique. He's anticipating, but he wins, even though it's just one hit. But they gotta do this to move along the the fight for so that him and Johnny can fight each other. Beautiful. Now though I'm pretty sure hit face not face is not supposed to be uh, part of it. The guy who's doing this, he's supposed to be a real referee. When the really was in a martial arts instructor. The guy right here in the middle. I can't think of his name right now, but he taught both the Cobra Kai and Miyagi Daniel Ralph Macho and Pat Maruta. I don't want to butcher his last name. Anyways, everybody knows him as Mr. Miyagi. So Daniel Larusso and so the guy, the referee guy, he knows a lot. He knows a lot of the tournament. Anyone from the tournament, he trained the 12 guys and he trained the Daniel Larusso, and so he taught them both different martial arts stuff. He did a fantastic job and teaching these guys to look more realistic, uh, as realistic as it could be. The another thing I noticed in the stand though at the beginning of the when he fought Johnny, the only difference between his hands is when it is the stance in that fight scene is his hands, the hands, his hands, the placement of his hands. The stance with his legs doesn't change. So he gonna go to one of the Cobra Kai guys. With oh, kick him in the face. Nice. So that was that's supposed to be the whole thing. I hate commercials, and I mean you can't escape them. You can't escape ads, but I get it. I get the point of ads. It helps pay for the stuff. They pay a lot of money. Um. Oh, so that was just part one. I'm the tournament. I'm the tournament. So this is a bad. The pixel on this one is bad, dude. No, so there's Johnny. Um.
Sensei, I can beat this guy. I don't want him to beat me. But I'll be disqualified. Out of commission.
So he's trying to cheat. And I was watching Ramsey Dewey on cheating, how he hit somebody in the ground, going to and he's like, it's always a warning. So he's gonna hit Daniel's leg. He said he didn't want to. He's like, I'm sorry. He has remorse. So 15 minutes was nuts. Now, so he jumped and hit. It looks like the kneecap. This is amazing little Chinese secret out here. Bad, like I said, bad pixel. Look at tape. And this is a bit reality though. He would possibly be beaten up really bad in reality.
Mr. Miyagi, you got a chance to win. We didn't lose no matter. It's not like me. Hey, had a good chance.
You liar!
Can you fix my leg?
Bad chance. Right? 2 months of training. 2 months of training will not get you this far. I'm telling you right now. You will still be green. One, like for real, on the for real side. 2 months of training. You want to be a black belt? Unless you're in the Miyagi McDojo class, okay? Miyagi Dojo, Miyagi McDojo, for sure. 2 months of training. There's no way you're gonna be this good in that time. You might have some basic knowledge, and in the movements was very telegraphic. I don't if they was really black belts as well in Cobra Kai, they would have. You could tell in the Cobra Kai series, you can see that they do sparring. They have the knowledge of sparring, or it's very heavy sparring. It's a dangerous way to spar because they're sparring without any gear, any protection. And it's like an old school Bill Knuckles type of sparring. That's not that's not a great input when you try to teach your students a, 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 and be a good a simple as a instructor. Now, granted, years later, because I made 3 films in the movie, Daniel Larusso should around about that time when we go to Japan should be close or well. If he's trained with Mr. Miyagi through all those time in that 3, 4, however long period of time frame, then yes, and at about that time he should be about black belt, and then he would have be better. He would be more qualified to actually to compete in All Valley tournament instead of the 2 month mark. Granted, it's this movie is set up to for a underdog to show that hey, yeah, he's an underdog, he's gonna win. Alright, so that's the whole purpose of the movie. And I guess also to sell the fact that if a smaller guy can win against a bigger guy, more skillful fighter, has a big chance. That's not that's false. It's good seller pitch. Good seller pitch. I'm telling you guys. Wow. Good sell. I'm telling you. We go first one. I don't want to. I don't want to get. I mean, I probably will still because I show a lot of this video. Yeah, that's a nice streak. Not however, this is not wrestling, guys. You're not gonna. Oh, nice scissors. That's a very high technique, though, for real. For him to learn on that, how long it took him to practice that. Granted, all the moves you see, they have the repetition, 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 repetition. They started this, so this came out in 1984, but they was training this, practices for a whole year before the movie came out. Uh, for reals. I mean, um, they want to make sure all the nobody gets hurt during the takes, during the shoot, the actual shoot. So that really had to work with Ralph Macchio, especially with the scissors. The scissors is a very offensive movement. It takes practice and timing to perfect. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but what if you a beginner, especially like a white belt level, you ain't learning that. But I get it. As a movie, you have to really show your knowledge and of course back then karate was really big during that time anyways, but however fantastic movement.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
You have a problem with that? Sensei.
Johnny Lawrence. Once you listen to it, I'm sure that your back watches and look how I looked. Ooh. That hit that leg that hit always hurt. Always made an injury. Very aggressive. This is what actually I'm talking to know. Oh, that's great. Nice. Round kicks. Spinning back. Spinning back kick. Now yes, over. Kick to the face. Leg destruction. There's a leg destruction right there. He grabbed and hit, elbow got knee. Well, man, Carter broke it. Carter literally broke his knee. In the front kick. Anyways, that's that, guys. Let me give you my take on that because of the fact, uh, it's a good movie and all, but you got to know the reality of it. That um, that the that move he did is actually illegal movement. The kick in the face. They did a lot of kick in the face in there. The point karate, uh, like that is, um, I believe, I want to say anything like, I know full contact karate is different because you got gear, you got your protective gear on. You can actually hit the face. I believe takedowns are considered a point. Um, I really it's been a while since I competed in one of those. Let me I'm about 30, man. I haven't competed in years. And the not that the rules always changing, always changing. The rules are, it could be the same rules as when I did, but I'm sure that that's probably changed a little bit. So let's go ahead, check it, check that shit. I'm gonna Google it right here. Uh, yeah, rules. Let's see, 8 points, blah blah blah. I think, yeah, punches to the face, groin, and joints are prohibited, but bare knuckles to the elbow, strikes to the body and limbs, with the exception of the joints, and kicks, including kicks with the knee against the leg, arms, body, head, and face are permitted as a sweep, as are sweeps. So that's kind of retarded. Like some of the things that I just read, that is, I guess it depends on the movement whether or not you can hit the face. But if you punch in the face, it's legal. So, anyways, um, so the I know that each one of those movements, if you hit those areas, and those are points. If you hit the chest, the stomach, the uh, arm, or whatever, and you get that, or whatever you initial talking that you were trying to get. If you always sweep with the elbow, like you saw on the Karate Kid, that's a point. Take down and strike to the sternum, to the solar plex. Uh, that'll be a point. But uh, so, so let's try to. Anyways, I've been up since 5 and I didn't sleep too well, guys. Um, as for the the movements that he did well. I think um he did fine. Both people fought did really well. Uh, Someone who's that flinchy would have more You can tell that they never sparred in life because the way he was moving, he was very nervous. If he was not really that nervous and to do full contact. Remember, Cobra Kai did full contact during the sparring, as is shown in the Cobra Kai series. So they're tough. If you um, know that John Kreese, his background is in the military, uh, very physical, and even back that time, their boot camps would have been also physical. Uh, and he probably saw that as a normal thing. Anyways, to in combative, uh, in the military, your combat skills is you either you use it to survive. In other words, it's more or less like as to kill or be killed scenario, and that's what he's brought up onto. If you saw the clips of John Kreese's flashback of when he was in Nam, he was a prisoner of war in that scene. So he actually had to end up killing his instructor, his higher. The guy was a captain, which he should have been a higher. He should have been a higher combative. His skill should be a higher combative skill, than John Kreese was, but I guess John Kreese's experience being in doing martial arts, and possibly a black belt in the style he was in, got him the also to help him with that advantage. Only he also added the hand-to-hand combat during his training, so only have competed in the karate tournaments, and he always had the knowledge of how to fight combatively, right? So, could it uh, be a equal? I'm assuming probably could be a possibility equally uh, capacity, same capacity of someone who's trained, got through their hand to hand combative skills through the military versus somebody who has that combative mindset already going into the boot camp and uh, competing. If his uh, captain didn't have all that, he didn't really, if he didn't had to really put his combative skills to that to a competitive test, and he only like he was only able to use it during um, training time, then that could have gave him the the but I'm assuming I'm assuming Captain should have won as well in that fight because he was trained to kill versus karate, and you have the sports mindset. That's really can be easily argument. People could easily argue and say, well, blah 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 blah, and more blah on that. People could go back and forth when not. Uh, but I can get it. John Kreese does end up become playing a big role of uh in the Cobra Kai series as well. I mean, in the movie and the series. So, um, if he did end up having end up killing his commanding officer, which was his captain, in a hand-to-hand combat just to get free, to free himself from uh, being a prisoner of war, then he saw, well, he ends up living the motto of no mercy, and that's what his captain was teaching him, to have no mercy to the enemy. And once he saw his captain as his enemy, he applied the no mercy and kept that no mercy. When he once he got out of the military and opened Cobra Kai and started teaching Johnny Lawrence and his buddies Cobra Kai. But I'm gonna go ahead. But if you really look at the stance, as I was talking about, I don't know if I can show. Um, you go back and watch. I'm gonna say go back and watch the Cobra Kai. You'll see in the first fight between Johnny Lawrence and Daniel Larusso. His stance, he has like a horse stance. The only difference is his hand is curved, and his lead hand was really low. So he was in the horse, kind of like a horse stance. He had, so, which to me, looking as a kid, I didn't know that, but now by looking at it, it kind of tells you, foreshadowing, that he's gonna learn. He's gonna learn that particular style. So it's a sneaky way to try to foreshadow, to let us know. Man, he's gonna get. We already know that once Johnny Lawrence did the spinning rear kick, he did a front kick, something front kick to his chest. Then he went into a spinning rear kick, a spinning side kick, to like the same spot to Daniel, and then he finished off with the wild back fist, right? And knocking down Daniel Larusso. That's the first time that Wikipedia. The second time is uh, Johnny and his buddies uh, was riding their dirt bikes and chasing after Daniel Larusso, and this is once you go climb over the fence, and they keep chasing him and caught up with him, and he gets beat up. Then that's when you see Miyagi jumps in and beating them up, and happened. He didn't really. He beat so he they get beat up by Mr. Miyagi, and then Daniel Larusso seeks Mr. Miyagi to become his instructor. And so Mr. Miyagi ends up talking to John Kreese, telling him, hey, 2 months, we'll see you, The conditions are your boys can't touch Daniel before the tournament. Nobody. So what Daniel does, because of big dick, gets empowered of uh and becomes he becomes the bully in that scene, in the movie. And but what I mean by that is he uses he knew because he knows that Johnny Lawrence cannot hit him, touch him, or do anything before the tournament, right? Before the tournament, so he plays games. So there you have it, guys. My thoughts and my theories of why I think uh, John Daniel was lost and the reason should have why Johnny Lawrence would have won. In reality, because you really think about it, he was really nervous throughout the whole tournament. I'm surprised he didn't flinch. Usually people who never sparred, they would flinch. The way he was moving, he was like, I mean, like, he's like, he got his hand out. He's like, and he's so nervous, so scared looking. He's scared out of his mind in the fight, and he moved. He moved him out of the way, and I get it. It's a underdog movie. I get it. It's just when I'm really looking at, and being a martial artist myself, and understanding the concept of sparring. You never spar, and never been hit. I mean, he been hit. Like he been beat up. Johnny Lawrence did beat him up, but getting beat up, and if you never really fought, sparring it, that confidence built up. You not just because you're learning karate or any type of self-defense. Yeah, they can boost your encouragement a little bit more, but it will not get you that. Not too much though. Get you that to that level that you need to be at John Lawrence. But it takes 3 to 6 years, depending how fast it can be. So it take about 3 years in karate. It can probably take you a long time, depending on how many times you go, how hard you train, how much you show improvement in your training. So the time that you can get about 2 to 3 years, 2.5. It's possible. It's really the time how much time you put in, how much effort you put in, how much you really show that you trained, mastering the techniques, the katas, and all that. You could do it in this time, in 3 years. I think the max maybe 2.5. To be black belt. I don't. I mean, in Evan in jiu-jitsu. Uh, uh, but it still will take you, if you want to get to teaching, it'll still take about 6 years just to get the degree black belt. If you Um, if it took you 3 years, you add another 3 years to get that three-degree black belt. It takes a long time. It really does. I mean, you can show good improvement in the 2 months as a white belt, and possibly can get your yellow belt in that time. But you still green. And not only that, Daniel doesn't have that many students. It's just him and Mr. Miyagi, and that. So he doesn't. Johnny has more advantage than Daniel does because he can train with his buddies who's all the same level as Johnny Larusso is. Um, I think if you've been honest, at this time, Johnny would be at least a 9th degree black belt, and Kam Kai. If you guys really think about it, because well, he won't be 10th degree black belt with Kam Kai because John Kreese is still alive. John Kreese is alive, still alive, and there's only one. There's only one 10th degree black belt in that in your lineages. If his lineages is under John Kreese, and that's and John Kreese's lineages ended with his sensei, and his sensei was dead, and that means John Kreese is still the 10th degree black belt in that style. Yes, Johnny Lawrence can open up a Kobukai um, studio, but only as the 9th degree black belt. Funny thing is, Daniel, with that time span, would also be, but in his case, he'd be the 10th degree. He'd be the Grandmaster in the Miyagi Do. Uh, he would be considered the Grandmaster in that time period because Mr. Miyagi is dead. He died. So, and I'm assuming Mr. Miyagi would have passed down Miyagi Do to Daniel, which made him, once he died, would automatically make him the Grand Master of the Miyagi Do style. Keep in mind, now they would fight, there would be still equal uh, competitors now. Because just because he's the Grand Master and John Lowe is not, does not mean they're not. It's just when somebody becomes a Grand Master of that style, it's when somebody is retired and no longer wants teaching, passes on the torch, or dies, and passes on the torch because of death. That's the only way you become a Grandmaster. You have already be 9th degree black belt in that style, and the 10th degree, the Grandmaster, would have to pass down the torch. Would have to grant you to become become the Grandmaster. That's how that works. Um, Now, John Kreese could pass down the torch and made him the Grand Master of Cobra Kai, but since he's still alive and he's still a threat, he still could be considered the Grand Master of Cobra Kai. With that said, now you got two Grandmasters, which would be Grandmaster Larusso and Grandmaster Kreese. Bad blowing, right? So don't know how long his daughter been trained. So I'm assuming at this point, if she's trained since she was 5 until she is a high schooler, she would be a black belt. At least around black belt time. Of course, if in the show she does end up saying she does she quits for a little while, and um sorry, I went on. I got more theories. If you want more part 2 of this video, let me know if you want me to explain more stuff. Uh, I'm gonna over the 30 minutes longer than I wanted. I'm a talker. But I'm full of information about martial arts. This is I want to have another video for tomorrow. Excuse me. And uh, it's gonna be amazing content, guys. I hope you watch me. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Like, nice that like button if you like the video. I got more content coming your way. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash the like button, and I'm out of here.